New York City subway system is complicated. There's a bunch of signs with colorful circles and many ways to pay. But in today's video, I'm going to explain what these signs mean, how to read the subway map, and how to pay for your ride. By the end of the video, you'll be entering the system like a pro. First, let's get started with an easy way to understand the system. There's only two words you need to know if you want to use the subway effectively: downtown and uptown. This is the New York City subway map. If we only focus in on Manhattan, it'll be easier to understand this concept. Uptown means you're going north, and downtown means you're going south. Let's concentrate on the lower portion of the map in Manhattan. Let's say we want to go from Canal Street, which is here, and we want to go north or uptown to 42nd Street, which is here. So since 42nd Street is higher or more north on the map than Canal Street, that means we need to look for a train that's going uptown. Where you are in Manhattan determines if you're going uptown or downtown. We're inside the Canal Street station. This says downtown, so it's the wrong side. This side says uptown, which is the right one. What may confuse you is that the sign will say uptown in Queens, but that doesn't mean if you get on the train you're going all the way to Queens. It's just telling you that you're going north because Queens is north of Canal Street, and that one of the trains, the E train, the last stop is in Queens.
This is 42nd Street, Port Authority Bus Terminal.
That's why the only two words that matter is uptown or downtown, because that will tell you which direction you're actually headed. Let's go over how to actually pay for your ride. It's actually pretty easy right now. You can use your smartwatch, smartphone, OMNY Card, credit card, or the MetroCard. Let's start with the most complicated one first, the MetroCard. This is the machine you can buy a MetroCard from. Only buy MetroCards from these machines, because there are people who try to sell you empty MetroCards that were previously used. Let's go through how to buy one. You hit start on the upper right, pick your language. This one currently doesn't accept cash, only credit cards. On the left you can pick a $9 card. In the middle are other options like the $34 7-day unlimited card, or you could put more money on a card if you already have one. And on the right you can buy a single ride for $3.25. Then on the next screen you can choose how you want to pay for the card. If you pick credit card, you'll slide it in and pull it out of the slot so it can read it. If you pick the cash option, you should put it in here. And on the right where it says MetroCard, that's where the card will come out once you pay for it. That's also the slot where you put in the card if you want to refill it. Each ride on the subway will cost you $2.90 if you already have a MetroCard. A single ride card will be $3.25, a 7-day unlimited card will be $34, and a 30-day unlimited will be $132. Also note there's a $1 fee to buy a refillable MetroCard. Each card can be used up to 4 times at a station, meaning you can use it for up to 4 people. An unlimited card can be used once every 15 minutes. When you use the card, hold it with the black bar on the bottom. Make sure you swipe it in the direction of the arrows indicated on the bottom of the card. Swipe the card like these riders on the device on top of the turnstile. Next is the OMNY Card, and this is the machine where you can buy one. Not all subway stations have them yet, but many stations do, and more will be getting them in the near future. Let's get started. As you can see, there is a $1 fee for buying a new card. You can also add more money to an OMNY Card if you already have one. You can choose the amount you want to add, then pay by credit card. You can tap to pay or use the slot. You can also buy single ride tickets. You can also pay by cash by using the slot to the right. When you're done, your card will come out here. The OMNY Card is easy to use. All you have to do is tap on the rectangle and you can go through. The OMNY Card can be used up to 4 times in a row at any station, which means you could use it for 4 people. You can use tap to pay with a smartwatch, credit card, OMNY Card, and a smartphone. I've also listed the credit card issuers that work with the system. There's no need to register your watch, credit card, or phone with the system. You simply just use it. That's why I would avoid using a MetroCard or OMNY Card. Those two are just more complicated. And if you use the same device, you won't pay more than $34 in a 7-day window. Once you make more than 12 trips, the next trips are all free in that 7-day window. Just make sure you use the same device or credit card. Let's learn how to read the subway map. Let's focus on the E-train. I've highlighted the E-train route in blue. The E-train starts in Lower Manhattan at the World Trade Center station. It then goes uptown and then on to Queens. You'll notice that the A, C, and E all have blue color symbols, and that's because they all share stops along the blue line. And that's how the trains are grouped. The color of the symbols all share the same color line on the map. For example, the 4, 5, and 6 run on the east side of Manhattan, and they're the green line on the map. All 3 trains start and end at different places, but they're all green because in Manhattan, they share the tracks that run in the same tunnel. The 4 and 5 are express trains, and the 6 is a local train. A local train makes all the stop on its entire route. An express train may not stop at the stations that the local does. A black dot on the map means it's a local stop. In this case, the 6 train will stop at 110th Street. A white dot means local trains and express trains both stop there, which means the 4, 5, and 6 all stop at 86th Street. A black line linking 2 stations, this one at 51st Street, indicates that you can transfer from one train line to another by an underground passage. In this case, the 6 train and the E and the M are connected by a passageway. Let's go through how to read a subway sign. At the very left it reads Uptown and the Bronx via local. That means the trains at this stop go uptown, or more simply north. The train's final stop will be in the Bronx, which is another borough in New York City, and the trains here are local trains. Then the middle portion tells you that the 6 train stops here. It tells you that the last stop on the 6 train from this station will be at Pelham Bay Park or Parkchester. Both stations are in the Bronx. And the reason there are 2 final destinations is that some 6 trains run express in the Bronx and some local with 2 different last stops. Also, late at night, the 4 train, which usually goes express and goes to Woodlawn in the Bronx, also stops here, but in the day it doesn't. All very confusing. That's why the only thing you really need to know that is going uptown, and uptown means you're headed north. The uptown and downtown rule works for most cases in Manhattan. There are, however, some trains like the L and the 7 where it doesn't work. That's because these trains actually go across Manhattan, east and west instead of north and south. If you take one of these trains, you'll have to look on the map to figure out where these trains go. For example, you may see a sign like this on the 7 train platform at the Byron Park station. On the left part of the sign, it tells you which direction this train is headed. In this case, it's headed towards Grand Central and also Main Street in Flushing, Queens, which means it's going east because Queens is east of Manhattan. The middle and right part of the sign tells you that the 7 train stops here and will head towards Flushing, its final destination. It's important to know the final stop on this type of train. Once you know that, you can figure out which direction it's going. That's also true if you're not in Manhattan. If you're in one of the boroughs, the signs will indicate if the train is headed towards Manhattan or its final destination in that borough. But for most tourists, most of your travel will likely be in Manhattan, so uptown and downtown will still be on most signs. And in Manhattan, most trains go north and south. Let's now go through how to find the right train to get to your destination. Of course, you can just use the subway map, and I've provided a link in the description. The subway map is a good general resource, but it's not interactive and it won't give you precise directions or help you plan a trip. Then there's the official MTA subway app, which will show you your location and all the subway stations around you. And you can type in where you want to go and it can plan the route for you. It will also show you different trains you can take and how long each route will be. It will also tell you if there are any delays along the route. It also shows you the delays in the entire system so you can avoid potential problems, and you can even use it to ride the bus. Another app you can use is Google Maps, which can also plan out your trip for you. and it can also tell you about potential delays. The app is easy to use, but has many other icons on the map, like hotels and points of interest, so it's a bit more cluttered. Apple Maps also has similar capabilities, and it can plan your trip and tell you about any potential delays. It's a bit slower compared to the other two apps, and the map is cluttered as well, but it's good for Apple users who don't want to download any additional apps. I think the MTA app might be the best for a first-time user because it's a bit more focused on the subway system and where the train stations are. It also has a clean and uncluttered map, and it can tell you potential delays in the entire system. The app also includes a subway map and an accessible station map as well. Now that you know how to plan your ride, the next step is to find the right entrance for that train. You always want to find a station with a green globe because these are the ones you can actually enter. Ones like this with a red globe is exit only, and you can't enter into the system. Some stations will have entrances for both uptown and downtown like this one, but some will be downtown only and some will be uptown only. Here I'm facing downtown or southern Manhattan. The downtown station is usually on the right hand side or the west side of the street. The uptown station is usually on the left hand side or the east side of the street. Of course you have to figure out if you're facing north or south, but it's not a big deal if you don't know. If you're on the wrong side, all you have to do is cross the street. Now if you do enter the station on the wrong side, then there's two things you can do. For example, you entered on the downtown side but actually want to go uptown. There's two ways to switch sides for free. Many of the bigger stations, or ones where multiple trains stop at, usually have stairs where you can change sides. All you have to do is follow the signs and cross over to the other side. If you happen to be at a smaller station, you have to take the train to a larger station so you can cross over for free. If you don't want to do that, then the only other way is to exit and pay again on the right side. Now that you're in the station, let's go over how to actually ride the train. A typical subway train has 8 or 10 cars, and I'll go over which one you actually want to get on. The conductor is found in the middle train, which is considered to be the safest one, but also is the most crowded one because most stations have an exit and entry right in the middle of the train. The middle of the train can be found by looking for a zebra board which looks like this. The conductor has to point to this sign at every stop due to regulations. So finding this board means you're in the middle of the train. The two other cars that might be popular are the first car and the last car, because some stations also have exits at the front and at the rear. I generally avoid the first and the last car because while it's rare, in a crash these two cars may be the most impacted. My personal preference is the third or fourth car because it's close to two exits and also near the conductor. In general, it's safest to wait in the middle of the platform and away from the edge. Waiting on the edge like this and not paying attention is something you should avoid. Most likely nothing will happen, but it's always better to be safe. Once you're on the train, take a seat or stand inside the train and away from the doors so you don't get in the way of people exiting and boarding. It's also good practice to look at the direction you're headed in to make sure you're on the right train. Once you get to your destination, the next thing to do is figure out where to exit. In general, local stations have 1 or 2 exit points, usually one in the middle of the train and one at the front or the back of the train. At larger stations, there may be so many exits it can be confusing. You can read the signs and follow the directions to find the exit closest to where you want to go. Or you can do what I do and just exit, because you can either walk inside the station or outside on the street. For example, at this station there are 5 different exits and 3 of them are here on the south side, which is where I am. I'm going to take this one here on the left and show you that the other one is just across the street. There it is across the street, so it's really not a big deal which exit you take. You either walk on the ground or walk outside on the street. So should you take the express train or the local? It seems like an obvious answer. Take the express train because it's faster. But unless your destination is very far away, the time difference may be minimal between the local and the express train. For example, to get from Washington Square Park in Greenwich Village to Times Square might only be 3 stops on the express versus 4 stops on the local. That means the actual train ride might be only 1 or 2 minutes longer on the local. In many of the subway stations, there are these displays that tell you when the trains are going to arrive. So if the local gets there first, many times they'll get you to your destination faster versus waiting for the express. Some of you may need an accessible station, ones that have an elevator like this one or this one. While they're not everywhere, there is around 40 of them in the busiest parts of the city. Do note that they are often out of service, so you may have to go to a different station if that happens. But the best option might be taking a bus because they're all handicap accessible. I've included a link to this map in the description, and it's also available on the MTA app. Here are some important subway tips. The MetroCard is being phased out, and you won't be able to buy one at the end of 2025. If you lose your MetroCard, whatever money you have on it is gone, so try not to put too much on it. OMNY Cards can also be bought at some stores and not just at the subway station. You can find these store locations on the OMNY website. You can also register on the OMNY website to get more information and track your card. If your OMNY card is lost or stolen, but it's registered to an OMNY account, you'll be able to suspend the card and transfer the balance to a replacement card using your online account. You can also contact OMNY customer service and have them suspend the card and transfer the balance. Kids under 44 inches or 3 foot 8 inches ride for free in the subway. The busiest times of the day in the subway system are during rush hour, and some trains get so crowded it's hard to get on. So you may want to avoid 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Trains also don't run as often during the night and on the weekends, so plan accordingly if you have a show to catch. Also be aware that a lot of maintenance and construction happens at night and on the weekends, so make sure you check for any delays for the trains you're going to take. While the subway is generally safe, after midnight you definitely want to be more careful, or try to get to your destination before the clock strikes 12. As a native New Yorker who has made over 300 walking tour videos in the city, I can tell you that New York is a very walkable city. So if you can't get to the exact station that you wanted to because of train delays or schedule changes, try to get somewhere close by because it may only be a few blocks away and you can easily walk there in a few minutes. For example, you wanted to go to 4750th, Rockefeller Center, but there are delays. If you can get to 49th Street on the R train, you're less than a 5-minute walk. Things may look far on the map, but in real life they might be just a few minutes walk away. In general, it takes about a minute to walk a city block and around 3 to 4 minutes to walk an avenue. And finally, here's my biggest tip for first-time users. New York is one of the most expensive cities in the world, but the subway is a bargain. It is the fastest and cheapest way to get around the city, and it's generally very safe. By using the MTA app and recommendations from this video, you should easily reach your destination. The subway will make your trip to New York a whole lot easier, and you might even get entertained. Have a safe trip and enjoy your time in the city. If you want to know where to stay in New York, watch this video next.